Hello friends, today we are going to discuss sub. Subgroups. Earlier we discussed about the groups and permutations and permutation groups. Today we are going to discuss subgroup. What is a subgroup? Let us start with an example. Say we have a group 1 minus 1 iota and minus iota. This is a group. We defined earlier it many times. We used it in many to prove many properties of the groups, etc. Now, this is a group and having 4 elements. Now, one a subset of it, 1 and minus 1, along with the same operation as this one, we can find another structure. And finally, we found that this is again a group. So, a subgroup is defined as a subset, non-void subset of group, non-void subset of group possesses the all properties or holding the all properties of the group along with this induced binary operation. Along with the induced binary operation, if a subset of the a non-void subset of a group possesses all properties of group, then we can say that is a subgroup. So, non-void subset, generally we use non-void subset of subset. Generally we denote it by H, and generally we denote a group by G. So, H is a non-void subset of G, and G is a group, and H is also a group along with the induced binary operation. So, this H will be a subgroup. Let us take another example. Example, R plus is a group and it is subgroup of C plus, means set of complex number along with the operation additive operation, and this is a subgroup. R plus set of real number with plus is a subgroup of set of complex this group. Another example of it, say Z plus is a group. And what is Z plus? Means minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. This is set along with this binary operation addition. Binary operation of addition. This is a group. And if we define Nz plus for a fixed n, fixed value of n is a natural number, Nz, then it will be minus 3n, minus 2n, minus n, 0 n, 2n, 3n, and so on, plus. Now, this is a subgroup of this one. If we take a fixed value of n, means I take n is equal to 1, then this will be the same group Z. Same group. For n is equal to 1, we get the same group. For n is equal to 2, what happens? N is equal to 2, we get minus 6, minus 4, -2, 0, 2, 4, 6, etc. This is again a group, but the elements of this group are even numbers along with the 0. That is additive identity along with 0. If I take the value of n as 3, then we will get another subgroup. So in this way we can say that a group may have number of subgroups. Number of subgroups can be found for a group. Now there are two subgroups, one Z and one only the identity, but this is the only identity element, and the G itself. These two subgroups are known as improper subgroup, and all other subgroups of G are known as proper subgroup. And this E is known as a trivial subgroup. These both are improper subgroup, and this is known as trivial subgroup, and all other remaining groups are subgroups of G are known as proper subgroups. So a group have number of subgroups. Out of these number of subgroups, two groups are of different importance. That is E itself, a subgroup having the only identity element of the group, and G itself. These are two subgroups are known as improper subgroup, and remaining are known as proper subgroups. So let us try to find some properties or establish some properties of the subgroup. Let us try to establish some properties of subgroup of a group G. Say we have a group G, and H is a subgroup of it. This is group G, and this is subgroup, means a subset of G possesses the properties of group along with the same binary operation. Say this is the binary operation for this group. Binary operation for this group is multiplication. Then for multiplication, this is subgroup. For the operation multiplication, this is a subgroup. So G is a group and H is a subgroup. Then what will happen? We have three important properties for this. One, identity element is same for G and H. Means identity element is same for G and H both. Means identity of G is also identity of H. Second, inverse of an element of G is also inverse of the same element if it is a member of H also. Inverse of an element of G is also inverse of the same element if it is the member of H also. Means inverse of an element of G remains same as it is the element of G. And the third one, order of an element, say any element A belongs to H, A, and means is same as its order in G. Means if H has some element, then its order is not different from the order of the element element of G. Let us try to prove them one by one. Identity element is same for G and H. Let us say A is an element of this H. Naturally, H is a subset. A belongs to H implies A belongs to G also. And we have two different identities for A, E and E dash. When A is a member of H, let us say E dash is identity. And when A is a member of G, then let us say its identity is Z. Means identity for G is E and identity for H is E dash. So E is identity element, E identity in G, and E dash is ID in H. Now let us take this element A belongs to H, means A belongs to G. Now if A belongs to G, this one, A is a part of G, then from the definition of identity, we know AE is equal to A is equal to EA. E is the identity of G and A is the element of G, therefore this holds good. And if E dash is identity for the element A in this subgroup, then AE dash will be equal to A is equal to E dash A. Now, from these two results, we can say this is equal to A and both are equal to A. So we can see AE is equal to AE dash. And since this is a group, G is a group, so cancellation law holds good, means E is equal to E dash. And thus we see that identity element is same for subgroup as well as group. So identity element is same E and E. Means E is the identity for G, then it will be identity for H also. Now inverse of an element. Now, this we have proved. Inverse of an element G is also an inverse of the same element. Say A is an element of H. This implies A also belongs to G. Now, let us suppose the inverse is not same, but if when A is an element of G, its inverse is B. When A is an element of A, try to forget this one. When A is an element of this G and its inverse in G is B. B is inverse of A belongs to G. means AB is equal to identity is equal to BA. Since he is the identity, as we have proved earlier that identity is same, so E is identity, therefore AB is equal to E is equal to BA. B is the inverse of A when A belongs to G, and inverse of it in G is a group, therefore it holds the inverse also. If inverse of every element exists, so AB is equal to identity. Now let us suppose C is the inverse of A when it belongs to A belongs to H, and its inverse H is a subgroup. Naturally, it possesses holds the group property. Therefore, inverse exists, and let us suppose C is the inverse of A. C is the H inverse of A belongs to H. Implies AC is equal to identity. Since identity is same, therefore AC is equal to identity is equal to CA. And from these two results, we can say AB is equal to AC, and both elements belongs to the group. Therefore, cancellation law holds good. B is equal to C. This implies B is equal to C. Means inverse of an element of H is same as if it is an element of G. This is your second property. Means inverse remains the same. If inverse of an element of H is same as its inverse in G. Now third one, order of an element A belongs to H is same as order of G. Order of an element A belongs to H. Let us say A belongs to H. A belongs to H. H is a subgroup. So this implies A also belongs to G. And let us suppose the order of this element, when it is an element of G, its order is N. Order of A is equal to N when A belongs to G, and order of A is equal to N when A belongs to H. Means we have supposed that inverse order is different one in H and in G of the same element. Order of the same element is different for H and G. Now this implies A raised to the power N is equal to identity, and again identity is same. Therefore this implies A raised to the power N is equal to identity, and from these two I can write A raised to the power N minus N. A raised to the power N minus N is equal to A raised to the let us write one more step. A raised to the power N is equal to A raised to the power N, and since A raised to the power N is also an element of G, therefore its inverse or A raised to the power N belongs to H. Its inverse also exists, and we operate then by A raised to the power N. So we can write here straightforward A raised to the power N, A raised to the power minus N is equal to identity. Identity belongs to the H and G is same, therefore A raised to the power N minus N. And we know N minus M is an integer. N minus M is an integer, and any integer, this shows what this shows. A raised to the power N minus N is equal to identity, means order of A is even less than N, which is not possible. Why? order of A is n. N is the lowest number which gives the identity for the first time. Therefore, A raised to the power n minus n will not give us identity. If it gives identity, then naturally n must be equal to n. Means n minus n will be equal to 0, and this shows n is equal to m. N is equal to m means the order of the element belongs to the set G is same as if the element belongs to the H. Thus, from here we can predict an important result. What is important result? Then, as earlier I used this as a group and 1 minus 1 is a subgroup. We know the order of 1 is 1, order of 1 is 1, order of 1 is 1, order of minus 1 is 2, and order of iota is equal to 4, and order of iota minus iota is 4. Means for a proper subgroup, this element, if this possesses this element, then order of this is 4. So there must be 4 elements at least, and the group must be the same. Order of this element and this element is less than the order of this element. So any group which possesses this element iota must be equal to this element, this group itself. And order less than 4 will may give us the subgroup. So order of an element belongs to H is same as its order in G. Again, we try to define complex of a group. What is complex of a group? And a non-empty subset of a group. Non-empty subset of a group. G is a group, and non-empty subset of G is known as complex of a group. Now this non-empty set may be a group or may not. May be a group or may not. For example, again, this is the same example. And we had earlier proved that 1 minus 1 and this is the subgroup. Say this is your H, this is your G. G, H is this one. G, the other two like G star algebraic structure and H multiplication of it. This is your subgroup. And for complex, K is a subgroup such that it possesses the only iota element, then this is complex of G, this is complex of G. Here this complex, this is non-void set, non-void subset. This complex is a subgroup, this complex is not a subgroup. So it may be a group or may not be a subgroup. So complex, what is complex? We defined here. Now we want to find the complex multiplication of complex HK. What is HK? We can write HKH, H and K such that H belongs to H and K belongs to K. And H inverse is nothing but H inverse such that H belongs to H. What is HK for this? H is this one and K is this one. What is HK? So HK is 1 into iota and minus 1 into iota. First element from this and second element from this. So this will be equal to iota and minus iota is HK. H and K. This operated by this iota and minus iota. And what is H inverse? H inverse for this, H inverse, this we can say this is a subset of G. Means we can say HK is a subset of G. Again H inverse, what is H inverse? H inverse is nothing but 1 upon 1 and 1 upon minus 1. That is 1 and minus 1. This is your H inverse. And we know H inverse is a subset of G again. It is a subset of G again. So we can find H inverse in this way, HK in this way, and we know that these two complexes are the subset of this HK is again a complex and it is a subset of G, and H inverse is a subset of G. Now let us try to find some theorems, properties of this group, subgroup, for the subgroup. What is basic theorem for the subgroup? Any subset, whether any subset is a subgroup or not. It is our question. Suppose H is a non-empty subset of G. H is a non-empty subset G, and of induced operation, induced binary operation is same for this one. Then necessary and sufficient condition for A, necessary and sufficient, and as necessary and sufficient condition for a set, non-void set, or I can say for a complex, I may use the term complex, or I may say non-void subset H. Necessary and sufficient condition for a non-void subset H to be a subgroup H. AB inverse belongs to F, for all A and B belongs to H. For all A and B belongs to, this is the theorem which gives us the for a subgroup, whether the given subset is a non-void subset is a subgroup or not, we use this theorem. Here I didn't mention that the subgroup subset, non-void subset is a finite one or infinite. For finite or infinite, I didn't mention here. So this H may be finite, may be infinite. But here, in this case, we would like to prove that necessary and sufficient condition. Now, what is necessary? As I earlier discussed about the necessary and sufficient condition, necessary condition means H is a subgroup, G is a group, and H is a subgroup. And if H is a subgroup, then this automatically holds good. How? A belongs to H, B belongs to, we are given H is a subgroup. H is a subgroup of group G. Let A belongs to H, B belongs to H, A, B with two elements, and this implies B inverse belongs to H. Since it is a subgroup, so inverse must exist there. So B belongs to H implies B inverse belongs to H, and thus A belongs to H, B inverse belongs to H. Closure property says that A, B inverse belongs to H. Therefore, if H is a subgroup of group G, then AB inverse belongs to H. For all AB belongs to H. Alright, now sufficient condition. Now for sufficient condition, what is sufficient condition? What is sufficient condition? That we are given the condition means H is non-empty subset of group G, and for A belongs to H, B belongs to H, implies A B inverse belongs to H. This is what we are given. Now what we have to prove? Now this H is a subgroup. Target is to H is a subgroup. To prove H is a subgroup. So using this property again we would like to prove that closure property exists, identity exists, inverse exists, associative property exists. All the properties of the group must exist. So H is a subgroup. Our target is to prove H is a subgroup. Now if A belongs to H is non-empty, H is non-empty, so suppose A belongs to H, and A belongs to H using this property, A inverse belongs to H, and this implies A inverse is nothing but identity belongs to H. So first identity belongs to H. Second, for any elements associative property automatically holds. Now A B belongs to A belongs to H, B belongs to H, B belongs to H, and E belongs to H. Now we prove that E belongs to H. So using these two, I can write E belongs to H and B belongs to H. Again, using this property, I can write E B inverse belongs to H. This implies B inverse belongs to H. Means if B belongs to H, B is any arbitrary element, and B is an arbitrary element belongs to non-empty set, then naturally inverse also exists. So identity exists, inverse exists. Again, A belongs to H, B belongs to H, B inverse belongs to H. Means using these two and again applying the property A B inverse belongs to H. This implies A B belongs to H. Means closure property holds good. So identity exists, inverse exists, closure property holds good, and for these are the members, and for these members associative property automatically holds. Thus we can say if A belongs to H, B belongs to H, AB inverse belongs to H, then H will naturally be a subgroup of the group G. This is for finite or infinite, any type of group subset. We can prove that whether the given subset is a subgroup or not. We simply need to prove for our letter exercises. We simply need to prove that if A belongs to H, B belongs to H, implies AB inverse belongs to H, then H will be a subgroup. Thank you. Thank you. Today's lecture